I'm going to try to look at my camera.
Oh, and I was wrong. We are live now. I've once again done it to you. All right, so hello everyone. This is my second interview with Jill Johnson here, who is running for county commissioner in Island County for the second. It's not district. Yeah, second district of Island County. And for people who don't know, we have three commissioners that basically make up. They have the powers of the city council and a mayor for all of Island County. We have three that make up our government, and Jill Johnson is the one Republican incumbent. And we are trying to maintain that. And she's got some opponents that we're going to talk a little bit about. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is, how do you feel right now coming up on the primary?
I feel confident. I mean, I'm not arrogantly confident, but I'm confident. I think my track record speaks for itself. I'm very connected with the community, know their issues, and so I feel good going into the primary.
All right. So, yeah, I think the conventional wisdom, and, I don't claim to be the owner of conventional wisdom, but I think the odds are that you and Miss Christina Elliott will advance to the general. Unless something just crazy happens that we cannot foresee. But I think that's what we can probably anticipate.
The last time it was two Republicans that made it out of the district, but there were two Democrats running too, so they split their vote. So I think you're right that, based on traditionally how the district votes, we'll see one candidate from each party.
Okay. So, well, that'll be exciting. So last time you had to run against another Republican. At least now we're doing it right, and you get to run against a Democrat. I've been kind of looking at some of the stuff that she's put out for her campaign. I've been looking at her fundraising. Her fundraising is pretty good for a commissioner race. She's sitting at about $10,000. However, all of it, except for about $1,700 of it, seems to be raised from family, direct family members. She's got $500 from the Washington State Democrat PAC. And then she's got the max donation of $1,200 from Win with Women, which is a Democrat PAC that is doing everything they can to try and remove an incumbent woman.
That's
awesome.
Woman. Yeah.
Nice. So there's been a couple of claims, and I just want to ask you, how come you never did any of this stuff? She has claimed that she is going to make it so we never have to let go of a teacher again by making sure she balances the budget. How come it is that you've never balanced all our school board's budgets?
Yeah. Well, first, I can tell you straight up that I have never laid off a teacher, and I never will as your county commissioner. That is something in my job scope I won't do, primarily because there are elected school boards that manage county school district budgets. They are held accountable to the people. They have the responsibilities to tell you what schools stay open, which ones don't, how the budgets get managed, what local curriculum is selected, whether teachers get laid off or not. The county commissioners have no purview over local school districts in that way.
So the school districts have their own budget in which you have absolutely no control over, and that is why we elect school boards, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, that makes sense, because I was about to say, wow, why didn't Jill Johnson fix this? So it's not even in the purview of a commissioner. So we definitely need people who are running for commissioner to understand the job. I think it's a good idea to elect people who know what it is they're running for.
I agree with you. I mean, the job is complex, right? So
right.
It's hard enough to keep track of the areas of responsibility that you do have without taking over the areas of responsibilities of other independently elected officials that the community has selected.
Yeah. And there is no limit to leadership. I know that you know several people who are on some of the school boards, and you talk to them and you try and do what you can to influence good decisions if they ask you. But ultimately, the people elected the school board members to make school board decisions, and you don't get to tell them no.
Right. And I mean, sometimes I even tell them what I think when they don't ask for my opinion, right? Like, advocacy is a big part of the job, but control belongs to other people who, again, are independently elected by the citizens. That's who the citizens chose to make those choices for them. They did not choose their county commissioners to do that.
Yeah. And just to clarify, the county commissioners in no way can overrule a decision by the Stanwood Camano School Board District or the Oak Harbor District or the Langley School Board or Coopville. And you also don't get to control anything to do with their budget, correct?
Correct.
So if we were to elect somebody else, they wouldn't be able to do any of those things that were just mentioned.
Correct.
Okay. No, see, this is good information. I just want to make sure people have it. So it is very easy, because we do have a ton of elected positions out there. It is very easy for it to get convoluted, whose job is what. And so part of the reason I do the podcast is so that we can tell people like, hey, this is the job you're running for. And I don't expect every single citizen to know what every single elected person's job is, but I do expect the person running for it to know. I think that's fair.
That's a fair expectation in my opinion as well. If you're going to tell somebody they're not doing a good enough job and you can come in and do it better, you should at least know what it is you're going to be doing. Right.
So we can say that any promises that she's making to prevent anyone from ever getting fired in either of the school districts, she can't keep that promise.
Right.
So it's just not in her purview to do it. And it wouldn't be her fault if it happened, but she can't fix it.
That's right.
All right, let's talk about one of her other promises, and I'm going to ask you again why you didn't do it. So apparently, she's also going to make sure that she fixes our hospital that's in Whidbey Island and make sure that they stay within budget. So why didn't she do that?
I mean, the Whidbey Health Hospital District has a locally elected hospital board. They are elected hospital commissioners. We don't set their reimbursement rates. We don't manage their operations. We don't set their level of service. That we don't set the wages that they pay their employees. None of that is the responsibility of a county commissioner. There are other independently elected officials who do that work.
Okay, so we have a hospital board whose job it is to do that. And once again, the Island County commissioners, even if they unanimously agree, can't tell the hospital board what to do.
Correct.
The only job that I know of in Island County government that can have an effect on the hospital, and not in decision making, but that would be the treasurer, because the treasurer can move some more money to change the liquidity so that they don't go bankrupt.
Right.
Which Wanda Groen did.
That's right. So Wanda released funds that they collected sooner rather than holding them and paying at the end of the month. She released them as they came in to help with cash flow. But even the tax collection rate isn't set by the county commissioners. We provide that service through the treasurer's office. But again, we're not telling the citizens how much to pay for the service. All Wanda did, which was not a little thing. It was a big thing she did.
She saved the hospital.
Yeah. Making sure they got that money faster so that they could make their payments, pay their staff, and not bounce checks. Yeah. It was a big thing she did.
So if you want good things to happen at the Whidbey Hospital, elect a good hospital board. And if you want a nice little backup, elect a good treasurer.
That's right.
But the county commissioners, again, have absolutely no purview when it comes to the hospital. But again, I'm sure you've given your opinion to members of the hospital board about things that are working, not working. But your opinion is as valid as mine. They can take it or leave it. You have no authority over it.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. So we can put that down as another promise that she's probably not going to be able to keep.
Right.
And what else? Those were the big ones that I saw of things that she's going to do. And I'm not trying to pick on her. She's young. Seems like she's excited about running, but it is so important that we have so many problems in this state that I think it's so important that we elect people who at least know what they're running for.
Again, I think she is an intelligent woman, right? The issue is she's not familiar really with the job and the scope of responsibilities. She's lived here about 2 years, if that. So even the local issues, she's excited about working on problems on the highways. We all
That was
are.
the other one.
Yeah, we are all excited about that, right? That we all want to solve those problems. We all want to work on the ferries. We want to make sure Highway 532 is, running smoothly, and Highway 525 is, and Highway 20 is. And the reality is we're advocates for those conversations, and we can help the state prioritize projects in those conversations that serve those areas. But we have no direct authority or control over those highways, even though they're in the county. So some of it is just lack of familiarity with our community and our state government structure and how it works and what a county commissioner even does. And
So,
usually when people apply for a job, they fill out their resume and make sure their skill set aligns with what the job is. They
correct.
don't just, say, hey, I want to be a doctor today, and then apply with their, undergrad degree in physical education. Those two things don't make you a doctor. Neither does just wanting to be a county commissioner prepare you to be a county commissioner. People sit on planning commissions, they volunteer on county boards, they learn county structure, they invest in the community that they want to represent. They don't just say, hey, I'm your leader, now tell me what you're about.
Right. And so, the other thing that was brought up was she had mentioned that she was going to, I think, fix Highway 20.
Yeah.
And again, that is the job of our legislatures in Olympia.
That's right.
So it sounds like for the things that she wants to fix, she needs to run for LD10, the hospital board, or a school board position.
So far, that seems to be where her interest lies.
So a lot of people seem to think that the commissioners are a legislative body, and in a way, like a city council, they can be, but they don't control everything in Island County. We have a very separated government. Our school board's completely separate. They have their own thing. Our hospital board is completely separate. Our legislatures in Olympia, they are the ones that deal with transportation issues. And I agree with her that there's problems. And I hope she will let our legislators know. But the county commissioner cannot fix those highways.
Right.
I'm sure you've let the legislature know that you are dissatisfied with their work on our highways in 532 and 20. But your opinion, again, is just as valid as mine, because they can just be like, thanks for your opinion, Jill. We'll take that under advisement.
You'd be shocked at how many times they do that to me.
All right. So let me just ask you. So that's what she's saying she's going to do. She said 3 things that she cannot do. Let me ask you what it is that you're going to work on if you're reelected. What's going to be kind of your priority for the next 4 years?
So we're in the middle of our comprehensive plan, which is our land use policy document. We have an update due at the end of 2025. You update every 10 years. And that's a policy document that kind of guides your regulatory framework and demonstrates to the state what you're doing to protect natural resources and provide for estimated population growth, including the infrastructure associated with that growth. So I'm committed to finishing that plan with a fair amount of public outreach and involvement. We've got an extensive outreach campaign going on right now, a great leadership team that's working on that document. Our long-range planning team is great. We've had a lot of public meetings already about it. And so I'm really committed to making sure that we get that county-specific land use document done and delivered to the state on time. The other big conversation that we have going on right now, and I'm sure you've heard, is that we're in the process of hiring a firm that's going to do our needs assessment for the new jail. A needs assessment, I've heard, some people say, why are you paying for that? You either need it or you don't. Well, yeah, but we need one. And so the needs assessment is to determine how much space we'll need for the future. We're talking about a 50-year build, how much program space we need for rehabilitation, re-entry, therapy programs that also are now kind of standard in jails, and our jail was built before that time period. Safety concerns have changed, and so we've got to figure out how to accomplish all these goals in a way that's affordable for citizens, because it's something that we're going to probably have to ask for help paying for. And so trying to control costs and expectations early to me is important, as well as get the right facility. So that's a high priority. And then the third thing I'm working on and have continued to work on is last year we had a really kind of intense meeting with our building community to talk about level of service out of our permitting departments. Why is it taking so long? What are their levels of frustration? And we're really going through some restructuring there in terms of how we allocate resources to staff, where we put our investments. Also, we've got new software that we've brought online about 14 years ago, when I say we just brought online. And it turns out that not all the departments have been implementing, despite saying that they have been implementing. So we have somebody who's focused on making sure that every single department that is doing permitting work is using that software, customizing the software to make it work for those departments, and really just doing what we can to make that business side of the county more efficient and effective.
All right, perfect. Well, all of my kids walked in. I don't know if you sort of saw them walking through the background. So we'll have to wrap this up. But yeah, no, all that sounds good. And I think it's important that we elect someone who understands what that role is. And I think that's you. And that's part of the reason why we're supporting you, that you've just done a great job of, keeping us informed, keeping us in the loop, and keeping realistic expectations, which is all we can ask for our local government is realistic expectations. I always look, with kind of a side eye on anyone who promises me the moon from government, because the government doesn't do that. They never have. The government, in my experience, I served in the Navy. In my experience, the government is phenomenal at two things, and that's breaking people and breaking stuff and killing people.
I hope the local government people have a little different perspective on that.
Well, exactly. But it's slow. When good things happen, it's slow and it's very methodical. It's got to be well planned out. You kind of have to know what you're doing. And for that reason, I think you've done a phenomenal job. You haven't made any promises that you can't, in any possible way, do. So it's good to know that at least we're on the right side of that. So I want to thank you. And when is your next event? I think you've got a parade going on the 4th of July, correct?
4th of July parade. We're walking in Oak Harbor, and I think we're excited to have a good turnout there. So and celebrate our independence and freedom. It's a fun holiday for everybody, and we are thankful to participate in it.
Well, perfect. I'm looking forward to being there myself. I'll probably bring some kids, and we'll be holding signs. And then the one question I need to ask you is if we wanted to donate to your campaign to help, because every campaign, I hate to say it, they all need money. So in order to get the campaign moving in the right direction, where can we go to donate to your campaign?
I'm old school. You can send a check to P.O. Box 818, Oak Harbor, Washington, 98277.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jill. It is great seeing you, and promise me after we get through August 6th, actually, you already promised me on August 6th, primary day, you were going to get back on here. So we'll have another talk then.
I'll do it.
So yeah, no. So I'll see you August 6th, and we'll see how the primary shapes up, and we'll see what everything looks like.
Sounds good. Hey, thank you for the opportunity to clarify some misinformation that's out there, and hopefully the voters, who, regardless of who they choose, will be choosing somebody for the right reasons on the right issues.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and it is great talking to you as always, and we will follow up on August 6th.
Thank you.